Now we are going to see about the list of LDR questions which I talked about during the introduction. If you have come this far after watching all the chapters and solving all the sums, congratulations. This itself is a big achievement. Only solving the sums by yourself in your notebook is remaining. That is a very good thing. This itself can help you to clear the CA final set B exam in the first attempt. Now, this LDR questions is a list of questions which I prepared from the questions that I told in the introduction session. We have a total 129 questions in the ICAI study material, and then we have 53 case scenario, 280 plus individual MCQ. Out of this, I have filtered out a lot of questions which are LDR. What is the meaning of LDR is that I have categorized this based on one criteria. We have two types of questions in set B. First thing is normal questions. When you solve these questions once by yourself, it will be enough for preparation for that questions. You will be easily remembering this when you get the same question in the examination, or when you get the question, a similar question with the numbers changed. In that situation also, you can easily solve that in the exam. The other type of questions is the LDR questions that I have sorted out here. For these questions, a little bit of practice is required, and then in these questions there are some tricky points which you need to remember that you cannot remember just by solving once. You need to solve 2 to 3 times, and then before the exam also you have to go through these questions once. Only then you can remember it and solve it easily when you see those exact questions in the exam. And if you do not go through these LDR questions specially, you will find a difficulty when solving these questions in the examination. It will take extra time, and you have to complete the paper in the given time itself. So it should be required that you will be going through the LDR questions before going to the exam. Now, this is not a single list of questions which are magical and will help you to pass in the exam only if you study this. So that is not the case. Studying just the LDR question is not enough to pass. You have to study all the questions, and then especially you have to watch these LDR questions that will help you to clear the exam. And then, why not rely on repeated questions alone? When the self-paced online module set B exams were introduced in the initial stages, they were asking only repeated questions and some important questions in the examination. Many used to rely on only those repeated questions, and then they used to clear the exams. But now that is not the case. After some 2 or 3 maintenance of the self-paced online module portal, ICAI has toughened the paper level significantly. Nowadays, people cannot pass by just reading the repeated questions and the important concepts. ICAI is asking questions from the nook and corner of the study material. You have to know all the concept, and you should be able to solve all the sums. Only then you will be able to pass the clear set B exam. Why they are doing this is that since the costing paper is transferred to the SPOM portal, and you are writing it as an MCQ based online exam, the companies which are shortlisting for interviews and then they are giving jobs for the chartered accountants, they do not consider this as a qualification. They think that CS nowadays does not have any expertise in cost accounting. They have separate CMAs. They are studying cost accounting in an in-depth manner, and they are writing rigorous exams, that too in a written format. So they are giving priority for costing related jobs to cost and management accountants, and then CAs are not shortlisted when the area of work has a lot of costing involved. So this is a very bad thing for the profession as a whole. So ICAI is increasing the toughness of the paper, and then by doing this, they will prove to the other companies who are taking CS for work that we are also having expertise in cost accounting. So the toughness of the paper will be increasing in the upcoming days, and with every maintenance in the SPOM portal, the toughness of the paper is increasing. So even if you do not write set B now and you write it later, the paper level will be increased only. They will not reduce the toughness of the questions. So you have to prepare well. Do not just rely on the repeated question, and then solving just the LDR question is not required to pass. This LDR question are very special question. You can understand this only if you know the basic concept and the normal questions in the study material. So first solve the normal questions, and then give special emphasis to the LDR questions, and then practice them 2 to 3 times because they contain some tricky parts. What are the LDR questions? I have filtered a total of 30 to 34 sums in the ICAI study material, which is from various chapters are given here. This is the chapter number, and then in this chapter, illustration number 2 is important. That is an LDR sum. Chapter number 3, illustration number 1 is an LDR sum. Like that, different knowledge question number 4, 6, 8 is important in chapter number 4. Like that, this is the list of LDR questions. And then case scenario booklet also, we have about 28 case scenarios which relate to practical part. In this, only these 5 case scenarios are important and are LDR, which I have listed out. And then individual MCQ, only question number 54 is important. That is the LDR question. The remaining questions are normal question, which you can go through once and solve it once by yourself, and then you can go to the exam. Before going to the exam, you have to solve this LDR sum separately, or you have to go through this. That's all about the LDR question. Thank you. If you have skipped all those chapters and directly come to the LDR question section to see what are the LDR questions, and you should have understood by now what is the meaning of LDR, which I have written here, and then what you have to do. You have to read all the normal questions, and at last you have to come to the LDR questions. Thank you.